Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Forum YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer, producer Bobby and Vinny helping us out as we get you ready for some graded stakes action this weekend up at Woodbine. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 3 Seaway. Mike, I had the privilege of making the trip up to Woodbine for the first time last week. Fantastic facilities. My hotel room, open up the windows. I'm just looking out at the track, watching horses work out in the morning. So it's cool when you get to go to a track and that you've never been to. And now I kind of in my head, I know what Woodbine looks like and feels like. And we got a graded stakes here coming up this weekend. And no surprise to see Creed's Gold as the heavy favorite on the outside. Just looking at the field, she's in such nice form right now. And there's not that much early speed in here. She could be sitting a really good trip from the outside.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Not only is she just in really good form and coming off of a really sharp win here over this track last time, but yeah, there's just not a ton of pace in this race. I mean, one of the reasons her win last time was so good because that pace was pretty solid that she was keeping up close. But this race, they might go even slower in this race, and that's only to her advantage.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, see how they think this race sets up. They do have Creed's Gold up front with that favors front runners, some of the icicles there with the uphill dance, maybe sitting inside. Let's meet the field here for the Grade 3 Seaway. Going to go as race number 7 on Saturday, August the 22nd. The number 1 uphill dance comes into this race off a 4th place finish behind Creed's Gold and Reagan's Flame in the Hendry. She is 0 for her last 6. She hasn't really been competitive against the stakes companies. When you look at Creed's Gold and Reagan's Flame and even Bessie Abbott a couple starts back, she's been well behind those fillies and mares who are probably going to be, top contenders in here. So I was having a tough time building a case for her off the recent form.
Yeah, I just thought it was a tough spot for her. And then, listen, she ran fine last time behind Creed's Gold. But again, that pace was pretty solid. And she got, I thought what was a pretty good trip in that race, just sort of saving all the grounds away from the pace, running at the end of the race, but never looked like she was going to win. I just feel like against this field, she has to run a lot better than that.
Elysian Field is next up. She's a multiple graded stakes winner. She's actually last year's winner of this race. She won the Woodbine Oaks a couple years ago, runner-up in the King's Plate. She certainly has some talent and some class, but she's entering this race, Mike, off a couple lackluster efforts, really 3 in a row when you're just looking at buyers that are well below her best or what she could do when she's, on her A game. So that's sort of wondering how short of a price you want to take on a mare like her in this race. I do think the cutback could help because she won the Seaway last year going 7 furlongs. But my counter to that was she was fine in races going longer earlier in her career. Like she won the Woodbine Oaks and she was much more competitive. So I don't know if it's just a cutback to sprint. She just doesn't seem like she's been in her best form as of late.
Yeah, I'm with you on the recent form part of this thing. Like her 2 starts anyway so far this year. There's only been 2 of them. So we'll see. Maybe she just didn't come back fully fit and she's racing herself into shape. That's always possible. Turning back, I think, can work for her. That pace projector that we're looking at up on the screen right now, that's not going to help her. I don't think.
Yeah.
She's going to need something to run out here. So that concerns me. Her recent form concerns me. But listen, man, she's got a bunch of races that make her tough in here. And, Cassie doesn't do it very much, Gino, but whenever he turns her back, she runs big, man. The last 2 times, anyway, he's turned her back from route to sprint. She won both of those races, including this race last year.
And she certainly just classes up with this field. Like she's, like you said, her A game and some of her better efforts, if she were to show up with one of them, that wins this race. No doubt about it. We move to Austere. She's run 16 times in her career, Mike. I've probably better 14 of them. For some reason, I've always had a fond affinity for this filly, now a mare. She's she's a horse who's not been in the best of win form as of late, though. Also, all 3 races on the synthetic are good, but she had to drop into kind of a soft spot at Presque Isle in just a field of 4 to get a win last time out. So maybe that confidence building win can help her. She is just 1 for her last 10. But she is another one who's kept pretty good company throughout her career. Like she's been in against stakes company and against graded stakes company in the States here quite often. So she's faced some nice horses. Where do you think she stacks up with this group?
Yeah, I actually think she does stack up pretty well here. We'll see if she can get the job done. I mean, I guess just based on, how you talked about her, I guess I know who you're picking in this race. I don't know. I guess we'll see if you buried the lead there. I don't know. Listen, I'm kind of with you in that she always shows up and she runs. She doesn't win enough for me. That's what bothers me about her. She just doesn't win enough. But I did find it interesting. It took Brendan Walsh a long time to do it. He finally put blinkers on her recently, and maybe it made a difference. She got to the line first last time, so maybe she just needed something to help her focus a little bit, and it'll make a difference. I don't think she's overmatched by these horses.
And you can kind of see like when she was going a mile and a 16, sometimes she'd be a little short late. I
Yeah,
do like the cutback to maybe giving her just a little bit more punch and more late
yeah.
energy. Another situation, though, we'll see what kind of trips she gets in here where she's not really fast early. I know she's been close a couple times,
Mhm.
so we'll see what spot they work out. We move to Quadruple, who is grade 3 place, cuts back to a sprint, returns to the synthetic. The whimsical effort back in May wasn't bad when she was behind Reagan's Flame, and she actually did have some legitimate trouble that day. She bobbled at the start. She moved up to the inside. She was just behind the leader. She didn't really have a whole lot of room. She kind of had to shift around. Thought it was a pretty solid third at 21-1, but then she tried turf and tried a little bit longer in her next couple starts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's up to you, I guess. How much you want to hold the last two starts against her. I guess she didn't really run that well either time. I liked her whimsical. It's the only time they sprinted her on the synthetic, and I thought she ran fine in that race without a great trip. That race doesn't make her good enough to beat this field, but it suggests that maybe this is really what she wants to do. Maybe is just go a little bit shorter and maybe just switch to this surface and not run against graded stakes horses on the grass. I can see that she's 20-1 on the morning line, Gina. I don't think she's like I don't love her in this race. I don't think she's impossible.
Completely agree. The price, if she is close to that price, I think that's very fair
Yeah.
if you want to line up and, include her in some way, shape, or form in here. Scat Girl is the next one up. She's stakes placed. The last time she went 7 furlongs on the synthetic, she won. It was over this
Hmm.
course. It was back in May. The problem is that was her career best effort, and that still seems pretty far off from what it would take to win a race like this. So, can you make a case
Yeah.
for Scat Girl here as a long shot?
I mean, I couldn't. That was a pretty nice performance there. And I guess it's worth noting too. She got up close to the pace when she won that day. So there's not a lot of speed in here. So maybe she gets the right trip this time. Unfortunately for her, it's not like they haven't sprinted her that much in her career, and she finally got to do it. I mean, they've been sprinting her, pretty much her entire career. She's just not that good.
Reagan's Flame is the next one up. She's a grade 3 winner, and she's been pretty honest throughout her career. 7-time winner in 22 starts, earned over 500,000. She's been a lot better on synthetic surfaces as of late. 3 of her last 4 races have been on synthetic, and in those 3, she has 2 wins and a third. That grade 3 whimsical was a career best buyer speed figure for her, where she earned a 95 sprinting 6 furlongs on the synthetic. Last time out, she was a little bit wide. She angled out at the top of the lane. She moved inside in the early stretch. She closed pretty well to finish third behind Creed's Gold. And she looks like a contender in here. My concern would just be she doesn't seem like she's as fast early as a horse like Creed's Gold, like the other major contenders. So, like with a few of these fillies and mares that we discussed, is she going to get the trip that she wants where they set it up early for her and she can come running late?
Yeah, yeah, I'm worried about that too, especially since she's the 3-1 second choice on the line. I mean,
Yep.
I thought there were other horses in here that I could make cases for at better prices. Not, suggesting that Reagan's Flame can't win this race because I think she can. Her races are good. She ran fine last time. I don't think, she was further back in the field last time. I think that was an advantage maybe because that pace was pretty solid, but I don't think she has to be that far off. Certainly based on her whimsical, she doesn't have to be. So maybe she just gets the right trip in this race and she's right there again. I wanted to bet somebody else in this race, but I think she's a contender.
One of those horses who could be a very fair price is Bessie Abbott. I have this one in the mix, Mike, in my top 4. What you look at with her is last year, the 2 synthetic races, they were very good right here and in November. This year, they tried a couple graded stakes races on the grass. It wasn't like she ran poorly in the Royal North behind Shifty and Fantastical. And then maybe she went a little too far last time out in that mile race where she had to kind of move early and she backed up. I like the return to 7 furlongs for her. She's probably one of the more naturally quick horses in this race. I wouldn't be shocked to see her sitting in like the top 3 somewhere. And we've kept talking about this field as one that doesn't have that much early speed in here. Like, this is the type of long shot I think you're looking for in a race like this that, like synthetic, it can maybe give you a nice run for your money.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think she can get forward in this race. And obviously, they're not super fast races, but I think it's at least worth noting that she's 2 for 2 over this track and distance, and she was right up close to the pace. And both of those wins at the end of last year, when they've come back, I think she's run. I just think she's run way better than it looks in both of her starts this year.
Agreed.
And moved way too soon last time in a race where the winner just swept the field and drew off through the stretch from the back of the pack. She had an impossible trip in the Royal North 2 starts back. And I mean, out of that, I was just waiting to bet her back out of that race. She actually ran really well in there with an impossible trip. She's way better than she looks on paper.
Yeah, this is a good spot for her. And
Yeah.
again, I'm looking at these races last night before the odds came out. Like, if she is
Yeah,
something
that's
like
crazy.
double digit odds in here, that is a great price if you're trying to line up against the two horses that will probably be shorter prices in here, in Reagan's Flame and then Creed's Gold, who will round out the field. I mean, she's just in awesome form right now. She's a multiple graded stakes winner, perfect 2 for 2 on the Woodbine Synthetic. Most recently, July 25th, I think we had a replay of that one where she beats Reagan's Flame. She has a fast start. She backs up to sit third, about 3 lengths off. She stays inside, and then she moves around at the top of the lane. It was just a very professional effort from her. And she also has a win going a mile on the grass. So it makes me not concerned about the distance as much. Like if you look at her form and you maybe go, okay, maybe she's more of a short sprinter, but she does have the ability to get a mile. She has earlier in her career. So she just looks really good on paper in here to me, Mike. And I think there are a couple other longer shots that I would take a chance with. But if you were telling me like her and Reagan's Flame of the 2 short prices, I just think she looks really good on paper.
Yeah, me too. I just think she's way the horse to beat in here. And I'm glad that you brought up the distance piece of it, because to me, that's a pretty big one. I actually think those 5 and 5.5 races are too short for her.
Yeah.
I think 6 and 7 is it's way better for her. And she obviously handles this surface just fine. The clear horse to beat, in my opinion.
There's your field for the grade 3 Seaway. Let's move to selections for this one, Mike. I'm going to chalk out in here with Creed's Gold, but I'm very curious about how this race gets bet, because there are 2 horses that are kind of a price horse on my radar. My good friend Austere, who I mentioned I have in the second spot, and then the horse that you have on top, Bessie Abbott, who I think either one of those horses, if they are, 6 to 10 to 12 to 1, that's where I'm willing to jump in against a horse like Creed's Gold. And you've got Bessie Abbott on top.
Yeah, price will be a big part of it. She'll have to be a good one if I'm going to bet her in here. But I do want to take a shot with her in this race, because I just like her overall form. And I just think she's better than she looks on paper. Recognize that it's going to be hard for her to beat her stablemate in here. But I'll bet Bessie Abbott to win if she's, anywhere near the morning line odds. And I'll have a lot of 8-7s.
7-8-2-6 for Mike with Bessie Abbott on top. 8-3-6-7 for me with the chalk Creed's Gold on top. A couple value plays underneath. We'd always love to hear from you. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe and like the channel on YouTube. And best of luck this weekend playing the races at Woodbine.